So this one's pretty unique. Today we're taking a look at the JHS Double Dragon. So honestly, I'm pretty excited about this one. I just took it out of the box. It is an all analog octave pedal, and thank you so much to JHS for putting top jacks on this pedal. This should be an industry standard, and I love that their last two pedals have come with top jacks. That's so cool. That's the first thing I noticed straight out of the box. You have an on-off switch, or the bypass switch. You have an octave plus switch. I'm really curious to see what that does. And then you have a lower octave knob, a higher octave knob, volume, and dry, and I'm really curious to see what all this does. So according to the paperwork that comes in the box with the pedal, the Double Dragon is a lo-fi, all-analog, monophonic octave-down and octave-up effect. And then like I just said a second ago, you got your volume. This says it controls the master output level. The dry mixes in your clean signal with the octave effect. The octave-down knob controls the lower sub-octave mix. The octave-up knob controls the upper octave and distortion, activated by the right foot switch. So cool. So not only is this an octave up, but it seems like it's going to be a distortion as well, which makes me wonder where exactly this should belong in the signal chain. But we're going to play with it today, and we're going to check it out. There's also something else I'm noticing now that it's in my hand. There's something rattling around in here. That may be normal. I don't know what it is, but to figure it out, I'm just going to take off this back plate and see what it looks like on the inside. All right, so let's see what it's all about. So nothing appears to be loose upon further inspection. It seems like the foot switch itself is making a noise. So I've never noticed that on any of my pedals in the past, so if yours does that, don't be alarmed. It seems like it's just the actual switch. But since I already have it open, let's check out the inside. I'm noticing it says includes 0% artificial intelligence. That's funny. And then it also says more fun than the TS10. Nice. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I've never really messed around with octave pedals all that much, so I'm curious where this is supposed to go in your signal chain. Not only is it an octave pedal, which in my mind should go before drives and distortion, but it's also a distortion pedal. So does that mean that this should live after your drive section, but before your distortion section? Also, I gotta say, the color scheme's pretty sick. I like this yellow a lot, and the red. I also really like the Double Dragon emblem. It's cool, and I'm excited to see that on my pedal board. So I just put the Double Dragon onto my board. I put it after my Morning Glory, so I'm running tuner, compressor, volume pedal, Morning Glory, Double Dragon. So today I'm using my Menace guitar. This is a Tele Deluxe style of guitar. In the neck, I have a Seymour Duncan Jazz. In the bridge, I have a Seymour Duncan JB. I love this thing. It sounds killer, and I'm going to be going straight into my pedal board, so the only thing you will hear currently as my clean signal is just the Universal Audio Dream 65 Deluxe pedal. I've got that on, and I'm going to show you what my tone sounds like first, and then we'll get into the pedal. Okay, now this is my first impression of the Double Dragon, so I'm not even sure what the best settings are just yet, but I'm going to start out with everything at noon, and then I'm going to move some stuff around and see what we can do. Yo. That's interesting. So right now I just have the bypass on-off side engaged with everything at noon, and that's really weird. Okay, let's see what the volume does. So when you turn the volume all the way off, you get nothing. Octave down. So again, this is my first impression. I noticed that it doesn't really like chords all that much. So the volume does what you think. It's a volume. This octave down, let's see what that's all about. So the left side looks like the octave just determines how loud the octave is. So let's try pulling it back quite a bit, almost like simulating if I had a bass player with me. And I turned on the Morning Glory just to give it a little bit of edge. let's see. Turn the dry up a little bit and turn the effect down just a little bit more. Do you hear how it's like fidgeting around and it's almost like it's guessing on what note to grab onto? That's cool. That's definitely an effect in itself. Let's see what the other side does. That is fizzy. Let's turn everything to like right here. Now I'm going to put the dry all the way up to see what that does. So the dry brings your guitar signal in. Let's see what happens when you bring the dry all the way down. So in theory, it should be just the effect. That is the most Jack White inspired sounding thing I've heard. So I have to admit, it doesn't do exactly what I was anticipating. I was almost expecting it to be a little bit cleaner and a little more like, almost like you have a bass player playing with you at all times, but it's fidgety, which isn't what I was expecting, but it's really cool in its own way. This is definitely an effect that is, well, it's an effect. It's not something that I would rely on as a staple part of my sound, but it's a really cool thing that you can use as a creative piece to write with. That note sounds like the beginning of Mario Kart racing, like the go. So if you want to know how to make the sound of the beginning of Mario Kart racing where the light turns green, this is the pedal for you. So the low octave is cool, but what I'm most impressed with is the upper octave, the distortion that it does. It's really good. So my overall first impressions of the JHS Double Dragon is I like it quite a bit. It's a cool effect. It's something I'm probably going to have on my board for some time, just messing with it. I personally have never heard a pedal that does it quite like this. It's fairly unique in my mind, and it's full analog, which is cool in a day of everything being digital. A completely analog pedal that does all that is pretty sick. So if it's something you're into, let me know down below in the comments. Please do me a favor and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, like it for me and share it to a friend. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the very next video.